I began to introduce your work and your career, saying how amazing it was since the first exhibition we did in 2014 and the journey you did since then, and how you entered all the most prestigious museum and since then. And I was explaining that Space Utopia is a new page, is actually a very long path, because it's I was saying you went to Chile, you went to US, you went to North Pole, you went to China, you went to Russia, you went all around the world. And this new page in Space Utopia is Iceland. In the 60s, you said that NASA sent the Apollo astronauts to Northern Iceland to train for the missions to the moons, and that now actually it's still really a place of interest, because it really looks like the extreme conditions we could meet in other planets like Mars. And so this adventure really is a long-term adventure. You began it 15 years ago, about 15 years ago. And I think that we will be curious to know at the very beginning, because now we see all these successes. But and it seems always very easy when we see something which is achieved. But how did the adventure begin? What was your first expedition? And who were the people who first trusted you, believed in your adventure, which is quite special?
Indeed. Well, yes, it's been a long way. It's a body of work that I started in 2007, so it's quite a long time ago. And I started first this work with the French Guyana Center. They are the first who trusted me and with who I've been working. And then it has been step by step. I'm quite stubborn, so that helped a lot because, of course, you need a lot of authorization. It's everything regarding space, also regarding the military. So there is a lot of security involved, insurance. So it's quite difficult. Usually the window, I mean, the time you have there is very short. So you really have to make the most of it, the less you have. And basically, yes, I've been touring the world and making picture of the most representative space agencies, so training centers, technical center, any kind of things. It's really a world tour of the main organization. And the NASA was quite difficult, because I think I don't have the American citizenship. So I think it was about this thing, but I managed to work with them because the Vice magazine, they were doing, they were also having a channel, a TV channel, VBS, and they wanted to make an interview about my work. So they went to Paris and I explained my work, and then I said, well, let's go to the NASA in Cap Canaveral. That's how I managed to, like cheval de Troie, in a way. I mean, that's the way I've been treating that. And since then, we have a very good relationship, and I've been working with NASA for now a few years, and it's working very well. I also have the help of the magazine, because even NASA or space organization, they need to have some media. They need to show what they're doing. And the fact I'm collaborating with Wired, The Time, New York Times, any magazine, that's helped a lot. So it's helped me to produce my work. I mean, basically the cost of traveling, and then it helped also the NASA or different organization to agree with my work, because they knew that at the end of the day they're going to have a nice portfolio, which helped as well. But they know also that I'm not a reporter. I'm doing my own work. So it's going to be more like fine art. So I'm quite, they know me for that. So that's the deal. So it's working well. I don't know if I answered the question, but.
Are there places where you didn't manage to enter?
Well, China is quite difficult.
But you did it.
Well, no, I've been to the military museum in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
That's the most I did. Japanese is quite difficult as well. They sent me a very nice towel with some rockets, but that's all. I don't know how to well, there is a message, I guess, within that, but I didn't go that far. Well, I've been working for some private space agency in Tokyo with the Google Lunar X Prize. It was a world tour as well. So, and then I've been working in India, many different places. It was curated by National Geographic, so that helped a lot. Private companies quite difficult. Elon Musk, it's been a while I'm trying. I've got a collector, is part of the board, but I didn't go that far. I've been working with Richard Branson, the Virgin Galactic. It was working well, and I managed that with the Wallpaper magazine. And yeah, there is always places I'd like to go, but yeah, it's part of the. I mean, it's part of the challenge, the difficulties you have, and I quite like that as well. It gives you pressure and constraints.
Do you have any anecdotes? Because it leads you to meet a lot of people and to, well, do you have any anecdotes you could share about?
Yes, well, not really about space organization, but last week I have a very interesting discussion with an astrophysics guy, Christophe Ganard. He was the assistant of Stephen Hawking. You know, Stephen Hawking. He was his assistant for 15 years, and he's actually writing some fiction about my work. And then he showed me a picture on his mobile phone, and he said, "Well, what is this picture about?" And I said, "Oh, it looks like the sun, but like a thermic picture of the sun." He said, "Yeah, this is a picture of the sun, but it's been done during the night." I said, "Oh, wow, I don't understand that." And he said, "Well, where is the sun during the night?" He said, "Well," I said, "It's the opposite place of the world." He said, "Exactly. So we did a picture through the Earth, which is 13,000 kilometers." was quite impressive. And this picture has been done in North Japan at the Super Kamiyo Konde. It's where they have a neutrinos laboratory that study quantic things like that. And I don't know, it's a kind of extreme thing that you can, it's related to the space, because space is really the territories of extreme thing that is not our own logic. It's part of the agreement.
Behind us, if we try to disappear, there is one of your pictures. And I will quote you. You say, these are stories that invent a temporality between past, present, parallel, and future. I use the elements of these stories to create images and objects, always put in tension by oppositions that come to disturb our eyes and blur the borders. Reality and fiction, science and belief, past and future, visible, invisible, natural, and artificial. And I think this is one of the very interesting things in your work. It's, for me, it's that you are talking about the conquer of space, which means the future, yes. But it's a very ancient dream, because the astronauts we were dreaming about when we were kids, and it's the future we were dreaming about when we were kids. And it's always been between reality and fiction, because actually we figure kind of, we make it our own, and we project our own phantasma on these characters. So I don't know if you can develop a little bit more, maybe for the ones who are listening to us, about this relationship, this spatial relationship, which brings to that work.
It's in the same time, it's something very personal that we all have, this dream about going to space. And it's also indeed a collective dream that makes the thing very interesting as well. There is this tension between these two things, and my images, they're telling the story of space exploration, but they're also telling my own story as well at the same time. My story of me as a child with this desire of looking at the stars, feeling comfortable with space. So it's also really related to that as well, to my childhood, and also to the childhood of many other people, because we're all the same when we feel like we're covering by something bigger than us. That's something very that we all have. And so I'm trying. Well, I'm not trying. I'm not thinking that much actually. I'm just doing it the way it comes. I've got these memories from my childhood, and also all the things that have been fed with like fiction, movie, literature. That all these things are combined. So there is different layers of fiction and realities, and I'm playing with that. And I'm trying to find a kind of balance, but always in tension between this opposite thing. And that's the way I'm organizing picture. But at the end, also, it's telling this story, and also I'm very involved in the aesthetic as well. I'm composing my image almost like painting. They're also very large size, but they're very like painting image. Like an icon as well. I'm like playing with that. The opposite thing I'm playing as well is the scale. You usually have a human figure in the landscape that can tell you the how big is the landscape. But I think this feeling is not being. It's not about being alone. It's about also being a part of something bigger. It's more my feeling about that. And yeah, that's the way I'm.
So, what was your first contact with the space history and your roots, and also the kind of what are your writers, artists working on space who inspire you?
Well, I remember a very cheesy TV program called. Well, cheesier than that, but Cosmos 1999, and they have beautiful spaceship. And I don't know, I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. Well, then I've got other references like 2001 from Stanley Kubrick. That's the major. That's a very big influence on my work. In terms of aesthetic also, but also in terms of is combining different layers of time as well. You know, the last scene of the movie, when you have this astronaut is set in interior design like Louis XV, and mixing with futuristic thing. So I really like the kind of disruption, accident between the different layers. I like Borges, like the surrealistic spirit, and so the experience of mind within the Borges book. I like Jacques Tati. I like the way Tati is framing, the way he's organizing his pictures. I don't think that he's a comic author. I think it's more like conceptual. There is a misunderstanding. But I love playing, watching Playtime or Netflix. It's a great influence. I like more contemporary. I like Andreas Gorsky. I think he's a very great photographer. He did some big icon of our society. Yeah, there's many authors I like that. I like Didier Ballard as well, the science fiction writer. Like him a lot.
We would like to have some technical questions. So how do you organize a shooting? So do you know exactly what you are going to do, or do you do sketch, or what is the process?
Well, first it's about location scouting, and on the web actually. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of research through the web. It's really where I'm finding images if I feel inspired by these images, I'm going to search more. So I'm really searching a lot on internet, and then I'm just contacting the people and explaining my project. So sometimes it could take a year, and then I'm gonna have maybe 20 minutes to make a picture. But the thing also, you got no control of what you're gonna see, because the schedule within the space industry is always moving. You cannot rely; it's always changing. So you have what you have. You can't expect. So you really have to do with that. And also something I like playing with these constraints. It's I like the fact you. I don't want to spend too much time. I prefer to have this constraint. It's helping me as well for that. And so you have to have an idea very quickly and set up the idea very quickly, because I'm staging my images. That's something important as well to say. They're all staged, so all ingredients are real. I'm not, there is no Photoshop involved, thing like that. But I'm asking people to be there, to stand there. And also when I'm making a picture of landscape, I'm doing some location spotting before. So I'm choosing the light. So it's all carefully prepared when I'm doing the picture. But the thing is, I cannot sketch anything. I cannot prepare anything, because I don't know what I'm gonna get. And it's a beauty of the work as well.
Maybe how did you start as a photographer? How did you come? What is your first camera? What was your first contact with photography?
I'm born in Africa, and my father was doing a lot of picture at the time. And when we arrived in France, I think I was 6 or 7 years old. I went into the attic, and I found a big treasure suitcase, in a way, ballot treasure. And within this box, you have a lot of images from Africa. And I think that's my first fascination for image, because it was all my memories in Africa, and it was a big contrast, because I moved to North France, in Brittany. So from North France to Africa, there's a big gap. And so when I found out all those images, I think I spent, I don't know, I feel like I've spent maybe a half of the day just looking at all these pictures. And then some years later, I asked my father I borrowed his camera equipment. I started to make pictures. I was 16, 17.
Do you remember what kind of camera was it?
It was a Canon, I think. Yeah, a Canon. Yeah, I've got the image of the camera, but I can't focus on the brand. A Canon, but yeah, quite sure it was a Canon. Yeah.
Would it be possible maybe that you choose one picture and you make some comments about this picture for us?
So it's really a figure in the landscape, in a sense where you have a very small thing that's giving a strong influence in all the image. So I like playing with tension between something small and something big, something human and something landscape. And it looks like a very prehistoric landscape. You feel like almost some T-Rex or dinosaur can come. So it's a very spectacular landscape. And this picture was done in August 2021. It's a collaboration between the Iceland Space Agency, which is a very modest space agency. There are actually 3 people in the agency, so it's very small. But they are collaborating with an engineer working with the NASA to develop a new generation of spacesuits for the Artemis program. Artemis program is it's supposed to go to Mars. So they are training the spacesuit, testing the sensors, all kind of thing within this environment, because the relief, the landscape looks like Mars or the Moon, and there is very historical dimension well, history. There is a history between Iceland and NASA because the Apollo mission got trained in Iceland. So that's a place where they're doing a lot of training for robots as well in ice cave, in many caves, and of course it's fascinating. The landscape is very surreal.
So I find it very curious and very interesting that it's this confrontation between a single individual who I'm assuming it's a man, but we don't know, but a single individual in this vast landscape. Is there something that draws you to this confrontation or juxtaposition of the singularity with this immensity? Have you ever thought about a kind of a grouping or what that would mean to the science fiction that you are creating?
I think it's about two things. It's about aesthetic, and it's also composition, and it's also about my own feeling. I think it's I'm rediscovering the feeling I have as a child to feel like being part of something bigger. So I think I've got a kind of nostalgia of this feeling that I'm activating in a way by redoing this picture. It's I would say it's come from that. Yes.
Interesting. So that's a very interesting response in terms of replaying the nostalgia again and again in different kind of mise en scène.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much for answering.
I love your work, first of all, and I'm really curious about how is it on set. Like it feels like you are like 2 kilometers away from your model. Yeah, how do you work with them?
Well, I'm making when I'm making picture of landscape, I'm using long lenses. That means you have there is no distortion. I like that. It's very neutral, like the human eye. So it won't interfere with the vision because the perception is very neutral, and also it's making the background getting closer. That's the way I'm working. So I'm working with 120 millimeters lens, but still I'm quite far. I'm quite far away from the spot, of course. Yeah.
Do you have talkie-walkies to
yes,
talk with them?
I'm using talkie-walkie exactly, yeah, to stage the people and say, well, go up to the hill, turn right, make 3/4, stand that way, blah blah. So it's all stage, and also I got preparation before the image to see where they can go and then to have to compose my image for all these layers. So there's kind of preparation for that, yeah.
I have a question which is not very photographic, but when we talk about space astronauts and the communication always put women on stage, and I think there is part of it which is because it's a good communication, and I wonder if it reflects a reality, and is it what's the proportion of women in the space centers you go among the astronauts or among the technical and researchers? How is it in the real world?
I would say no, that's true. It's more a male orientated activities. That's for sure. That yes, but you have some women. Being astronaut, cosmonaut, not that many. It's really more men. But you have this movie, what is the movie? The mathematician woman, the black woman. They were women in the shadow, something like that. In the 60s, they were part of the Apollo mission, but they were because they were women and African. They were based in the basement. Because they didn't see them, but they were actually the one that the cosmonaut, they were more really they wanted to have their view because they were the one that they were doing the calculation to get them back from the moon. So they said, well, we have to talk to this woman because she knows what she's doing. And this movie is quite interesting about that. But still, you're right. It's there is more. It's changing, but it's more male oriented. That's for sure. Yeah.
Are there
I'm-
countries that are more advanced in this? Are there some countries that are more advanced in this area?
No, I can't see. No.
Okay.
Maybe it's a dream that it's sharing by women and men. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, hidden figures. You're right. Yeah, exactly. That's the one. Yeah. Beautiful movie and very interesting location as well. I made some picture. It's of this NASA center. It's one of the oldest NASA center in the US. Very interesting.
Well, I think if there is no more question, we could ask you what would you recommend to a young photographer? What would you recommend with somebody who wants to start as a photographer nowadays? What would, if you would have a piece of advice or something to
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I would say work with constraints and the beauty of being as an artist is to build your own constraints. That's very important because you don't do anything without constraints. And the gift we have as an artist is to create our own constraints. So that's very important to start with that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Vincent.